Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I wanted to share with you a review of the new Too Faced Pretty Rich collection. I have the eyeshadow palette, I have all the highlighters, all of the lip glosses. I got the whole collection from Too Faced recently and I've been putting it to the test. And I'll let you guys know my thoughts about the formula, all the different shades and swatches, and how I got this look today using the whole collection. So if you guys want to know all my thoughts on the new Too Faced Pretty Rich collection, then just keep on watching. So the Too Faced Pretty Rich eyeshadow palette is now available on the Too Faced site, along with a bunch of other products from the collection. I believe the highlighters should be available now as well. The lip glosses are going to be launching online at Too Faced on December 9th. The products are going to be at Ulta December 2nd and then at Sephora December 12th. But for now, you can at least get the eyeshadow palette, which I think is like the main focus of this collection. So this palette retails for $49. You have 16 shades in this palette. You have 8 shimmers, 4 glitter shades, and 4 matte shadows. This is what it looks like. Definitely the focus in this palette are the glitter shades. The shimmers are not as intense as some other Too Faced palettes. The mattes are really, really nice. But definitely the glitters are what stand out the most from this palette. And with these glitters, you are going to need to use a glitter glue. They're really gorgeous. I'm going to swatch everything in a second, but I just got carried away. These are really gorgeous glitters, but you do want to use an adhesive with them. Otherwise, they're going to be like really streaky and patchy. So when I go ahead and do the swatches, I'll use my Too Faced glitter glue so you guys can see like how pigmented they really look. The way that you're supposed to apply them. So also along with the palette, Too Faced released a few highlighters for $34 each. This one was already from the Too Faced collection. This is in the shade Diamond Fire. This is the highlighter that I'm wearing today. And then we have the shade Canary Diamond. This is a new shade. They're all kind of like iridescent highlighters and like more bold colors. And then the last one is Fancy Pink Diamond, which is of course pink. They all look like ring boxes. So those are all $34, and then there's 5 lip glosses. These are all $21 each. One of them is in collaboration with Jordan Woods. It's this one, Social Butterfly, but the rest are just part of the normal Too Faced collection. So I'm just gonna go ahead and swatch everything for you guys, focusing on the palette so you guys can see all the different shades, all the different textures, and let you guys know my thoughts about all of the formulas. All right, so starting off with the eyeshadow palette, I'm actually gonna swatch all of the glitter shades first so you guys can see how they apply with a glitter glue. I just applied a little bit of the Too Faced glitter glue to the back of my hand. You can't tell, but I just applied a little bit so you guys can really see that the shadows are really gonna stick on. So that's the shade Diamond for Breakfast. That's actually what I have on the center of my lid today. Next we have Diamond Glitterati. I love all of these glitter tones because these are all like the colors that I would normally wear. This one is the shade, the next one is Fluent in Diamond. This is a shade I was wearing in my last video on my lid. Like, these are gorgeous, and I love this shade too. I love all of these glitter shades. They're definitely like the highlight of the palette for me. This one is the shade Diamond Life. This is more of like kind of a turquoise color. I'm gonna add a little bit more. All right, so those are all 4 of the glitter shades, and when you apply them with a glitter glue, that's how intense they look on your eyes. So I love the glitters in here for sure. So moving into like all of the rest of the shades, we have the shade It's Designer. This is just like a eggshell color. Barely shows up on my skin tone. Then we have the shade Fancy That, which is a matte kind of taupey cool tone brown shade. And then next up we have the shade Filthy Rich, which is the first shimmer in this palette. It's kind of like a brown coppery or bronzy tone. And then we have the shade Clutcher Pearls. This is what I have in my inner corner. It's kind of like an iridescent white shade. The next shimmer shade is kind of like a peachy tone. This is called Princess Cut, and it has like a little bit of a gold hint to it. And then next we have the shade Highly Selective. This is more of a pink tone. Next we have the matte shade It's Cashmere. This is just like a warm matte brown. Really like the mattes in this palette. And then Oh That's Rich is the last matte in here. It's more of like an eggplant deep burgundy brown shade. Next up we have the shade Coal Under Pressure, and this is a matte black, but it has glitter in it. I actually have it in my outer corner today. And then next we have the shade Silver Spoon, which is more of like this grayish purpley shimmer shade. So these are all 16 shades in the palette. They all swatch pretty nicely. These shimmers, like I said, are not like foiled metallic shades like you'll get in the gingerbread palette that I reviewed recently. Like those are a lot more like buttery and creamy and pigmented. These are a bit more subtle. They still apply really nicely on your eye, but they're definitely not like intense foiled metallic shades. And then if I cover up these shimmers, it's pretty neutral, pretty like standard shades. So if you guys are not into those glitters, this is what you end up getting, like if you don't see yourself using those glitters. All right, so next up we have the 3 highlighters in this collection. The first one on top is Diamond Fire, the second one is Fancy Pink Diamond, and then the last one is Canary Diamond. So this top one, Diamond Fire, is the one that was already in the Too Faced collection. All of these are $34. That's the shade that I'm wearing today. It looks like super subtle because these are pretty subtle highlighters. So they are not glittery, which is good, but they're more of like a drier formula. They're definitely not as creamy. All right, so here are all the swatches of the lip glosses. There are actually 6 lip glosses, not 5. So starting off with the top one, this is the shade All the Stars. Then we have Raise in the Roof, Pretty Penny. Then we have Sunset Crush, that's the shade that I'm wearing, 401k, and then the one that's in collaboration with Jordan Woods, and this is Social Butterfly. The rest are all of the regular Too Faced collection. So they're all pretty wearable except for the shade 401k and Pretty Penny. Those are a little bit bolder, but you guys can see that they are like pretty opaque glosses. So those are all of the swatches of everything in this collection. I'm gonna go ahead into the tutorial so you guys can see how I got this look and then let you guys know my thoughts about all the products in this collection. So starting off with the eyeshadow palette, I'm gonna go in with one of the base colors to start off. This shade, it's Designer. I already set my eyeshadow primer, but I always just like doing this just to have a little extra coverage. Next, I'm going in with the shade, it's Cashmere, as my first transition shade. Just blending that out and up into my crease. Probably gonna use all of the mattes for this look. So I'm also gonna add in a little bit of the shade Fancy That. This is like a little bit taupey. Has like a slight kind of grayish purple hint to it. So I'm gonna add in this burgundy shade, Oh That's Rich. I'm gonna add this to my outer corner and then just carry that up into my crease. All right, so I packed on this color quite a bit just because I really wanted kind of a smoky outer corner. It looks a little bit crazy right now, but once I add in the lid color, it's all gonna come together. And I wanna go in with this shade Set the Jewel Tone, this like purpley blue shade. So I'm gonna take Morphe M124. I just washed all my brushes. After my James Charles video, all my brushes were completely dirty. So I'm just gonna wet this. And these shimmers, they definitely need a wet brush to like really look really shimmery. They're definitely more of like a regular shimmer formula and not like a foiled shadow or like something super metallic. I'm gonna add a little bit of the black shadow Coal Under Pressure. This is like a shimmery black. It has like glitter in it, and I never really add black to eye looks, but I feel like with this, I just want to like smoke it out slightly more. All right, so now I'm gonna add some of the glitter to the center of my eye. I think I'm gonna go in with this shade Diamond Life. I'm debating Diamond Life or Diamonds for Breakfast with this look. Let me go ahead, let's go ahead and do Diamonds for Breakfast because I feel like Diamond Life is just gonna blend in a little bit too much. So I'm just gonna take some glitter glue from Too Faced. This does not come with the palette. I just have it from like another Too Faced palette, but it works really, really well, and it works really well with these glitters. So I'm just gonna take that same Morphe brush. I'm just gonna pack this. It actually might apply a little bit better with your finger, but I just wanna be more precise and pack it onto the center of my lid. All right, so I'm just playing around with the glitter because I kind of really like how it looks, almost like a halo effect. I think I have way more on this side compared to this side, but I'll even them out a little bit and just add a little bit more of the blue shadow to make that pop a bit. All right, so I just threw on some lashes. I'm just gonna finish off my lower lash line with some of the matte shades. I'm just taking the matte brown and then probably the matte burgundy shade and a little bit of the blue shade too. So my eyes are done. I'm going to take the Diamond Light highlighter brush, their new highlighter brush, and I'm going in with the highlighter in Diamond Fire. And this is actually like a pretty dense highlighter brush, so let's see how it works. I did apply this with my Morphe brush yesterday and I liked the look of it because it has a little bit, yeah, like of an iridescent feel to it. So I'm already wearing a nude liquid lipstick. Obviously, this is the shade Bear from Jouer. It's one of my favorites. And I'm gonna go in with the lip gloss in the shade Sunset Crush. This is kind of pinky and it's very glittery. Like it looks really, yeah, glittery. Like the glitters really stand out. So if you guys are interested in the lip glosses, they look really pretty because the glitters in it is like really fine. So it doesn't look chunky, it doesn't look weird. Like it just looks really nice on top of like any liquid lipstick, or on its own it is gonna be kind of opaque. What I don't like is like the taste of the lip gloss. It does taste like a little bit like chemically. The scent actually reminds me exactly of like any time that I take a makeup wipe to remove my liquid lipstick and then just the taste that's left over from the makeup wipe. That's what these taste like. I was really hoping that they would have like some kind of scent or flavor for them, especially because it's Too Faced. I know it's like a rich theme, so I didn't want them to taste like money, but I didn't know what they would taste like, and I was hoping it would be at least like vanilla or something. But yeah, I'm not a big fan of the taste of those, but the actual like feel and everything is good. It looks good on top of liquid lipstick and it looks good on its own too. Alright guys, so this is the final look and I wanted to give you my thoughts on all the products. So definitely my favorite product is the Pretty Rich palette. I definitely love all of the glitters in here, and in my last video, my November favorites, I was just wearing one of the pressed glitters all over my lid and it looked so pretty. It stayed in place for hours and hours. I didn't have any glitter fallout, so that's what I really like about these glitters, that they are really nice to like pack onto the eye and they don't go anywhere throughout the day. They're not going to give you fallout, they're not going to mess up your eye look, so your makeup will stay just as dramatic as you wear it throughout the day with the glitters, which is kind of tricky sometimes with glitters, but I definitely love the glitter shades. The mattes blend out really nicely. What I don't like as much is the shimmer shades in here, and that's like half the palette. So if you're not interested in the glitters in this palette, definitely probably skip over this palette because there's so many other palettes that have way more pigmented and like creamy shimmer shadows, like the Gingerbread palette, the Natural Eyes palette from Too Faced. Those are like way more pigmented. The shimmers in here blend nicely, they apply nicely, but they're definitely not as vibrant as those other Too Faced palettes. So if you're not interested in the glitters, definitely get one of those other palettes because the shimmers aren't exciting enough to just wear like the shimmers and the mattes in this palette. And then next up we have the highlighters. So these highlighters are definitely a bit drier, just like the way that I applied it today. It's still like super subtle and I did kind of build it up quite a bit. I definitely prefer something that's like more of a pigmented, really creamy, almost wet looking formula. And these are definitely more dry and subtle. So if you want like a really subtle highlight, then maybe you would like these. But these colors specifically, like all of them are a little bit more bold. So if you're into more of a subtle highlight, I don't think that you would go for these tones. I think that you would go for like a more natural color. So if you like those shades and you want a more subtle look, then you might like the highlighters because they're not glittery. Some other formulas like the Smashbox Vada collab that I reviewed like months ago, those were like a similar formula, but they were super glittery and just looked like really chunky on your skin. These don't look glittery, but they're still like a really kind of subtle light look, which is definitely not what I go for with highlighters. So if you're not into that, pass over the highlighters. And then the glosses are really pretty as well. They're really pigmented and opaque on their own, if you like to wear like a really metallic lip on its own, and they don't feel like chunky glitters on your lips whenever you wear them by themselves. Alright guys, so that's gonna be everything for this review of the Too Faced Pretty Rich collection. I'm definitely gonna be doing some more looks with this palette either on here or on my Instagram in the next couple weeks because I definitely want to use some of these glitter shades and just do like a whole glitter look for the holidays. I think that's gonna be really pretty, and it's like super simple to use those glitters, so you guys will see that very soon. I'll have all of the products from this collection listed in my description box. And if you guys like this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. And I'll talk to you soon in my next video. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.